All right, in this video, we're going to talk about a loan amortization. Now, when you're making financial decisions in a farm or a ranch, or even personally, the idea about understanding a loan, how the loan's calculated, and being able to understand total interest and how things may change if you can negotiate a better price or even a better loan is important. So in this video, we're going to talk through an example I built for you. This also connects to the homework of this week. So watching this video first, seeing how this works, and then replicating that in the homework is kind of the concept. All right, let's take a look. When you pull up the file for the loan amortization homework, you're going to see the instructions here, so let me read those with you. We're considering an investment in some property to expand your business, but you're not sure if you have the cash needed. A loan amortization will help you look at those options and also help you do some what-if analysis. In other words, we're going to change some parts of this. The needed information you have is listed right here. So we have an $850,000 loan, interest rate of 6.5%, and then initially we're looking at 20 years paid monthly. All right, so I'm going to take this space below here to do most of my work. However, the answers to my questions are here. So what are they? Let's go over those. First, just to calculate the loan just as it is. Calculate what the loan payment is and calculate the life of the loan. What are we paying in interest? So across 20 years every month, that's what we're going to look at. Next, we're going to negotiate a little bit. We think we can get the price of the place down to $825,000. We can continue to go lower, but there's one of our targets. What's the loan payment now, and how does that change the interest? We're going to want to try to compare these to see what it's really worth to try to make that move. Then the next is in negotiating with the bank. Now we're going to end up trying to get a better price. All right, so let's go through here, and that's the next to last step. The last step is actually talking to the owner and saying, look, what if you owner finance this to me? You can make this interest. And so give me a better price on the place. I'm looking at 800, and at 6% on your money, this would be X dollars. And so there's what the loan payment would be. And then now we have a new life of interest. All right, so there's what we've got. Let's come down here and get started. Now you're going to develop your own sheet. So there's several ways you can do this, but I'm going to go ahead and try to organize this the way that makes sense to me. And then you can either follow that or you can maybe change that a little bit. All right, so first of all, I'm going to go with the price. The price is going to be $850,000, and so that's what we're paying. I'm going to hit this dollar symbol here to make sure I have the right zeros in there, and that is what we're paying, so that works. All right, the next is going to be the rate. Now the rate is going to be an annual rate, and that is going to be 6.5%. So I go ahead and put 0.065, and again on this little formula up here for format, I change that to a percentage, and then I increase the decimals here so I can see it is 6.5%. I can even format this and right-click those a little bit. I can even put these in a little bit of a highlight so they're easy to see that those are my variables. All right, so the next variable we have is now time. And so time is going to be paying by the month. So once again, I can justify that, and then that is 20 is my time period. And so I can stick that in. All right, so those are kind of my variables that I have. Loan amortization that we talked about before has got several columns. You could do this in your calculator. However, when you get to 20 years paid monthly, it gets kind of tough. So we start off with time. We start off with payment. We then move to, let's see, we can go with principal of the payment, and then we can go to interest of the payment. And get a little tight here on the columns. I can move that over just a little to give me more room. And then, so there's our principal, there's our interest, and then the last part we have is our balance. So what is the loan balance? All right, so all of those are my variables. I'm going to expand them out a little bit. And so I've got my parts here. Time, let's deal with it first. Starts with 0, and then it goes to 1 and 2. And then these are probably my time column. I would put monthly since I'm looking at this. Probably in my payment. Well, I already know it's monthly based on time. All right, so 0, 1, 2. Now here's what you can do in Excel. You can copy the 1 and the 2, like highlight the 1 and the 2, I should say. And this little bitty box down here at the bottom, when we get this little plus key, it lets us, if I can get that, it lets us move down the rows, and it goes all the way to we want to go to whatever that would be, 240. So we could just run it all the way down to 240. And that's a quick way, and then scroll back up, and that gets my time in. So we might even keep, let's see, let me insert this. We might even add some other things down here, like with rate. We might do I per R per period. And remember, that would be equals taking that and dividing it by 12. So that would be what our percentage is there. Over here, we might be tempted to put periods in here. And so that would be equals there times 12. That'd be 240 like we thought. Okay, so there's all our examples here. I'm going to go ahead and bold those, maybe underline them. That way I see that they're there. I've got all the information I need here. Let's start at period 1. So period 1 is going to be a formula. So choose that f of x button. There's several ways to do this. Also equals. And over here in our formula builder, we type in payment, and it finds it. We double click on it, and it asks us what are the answers. Well, rate we need is that rate per period. Looks like that N we need is those periods monthly. And then it looks like the present value. Remember, you put a negative in front of that, and that's what our loan would be. And so if I choose enter, it's going to be $6,000 a month to buy this place. Now, if I have that formula written once, it already has all of these variables. I could lock all the variables with a dollar symbol. Remember, that locks those. And that will just keep those cells right where they are. Or let me take that out, because you can do this another way. So that's our formula. If we just go to the payment in the next month, if I press equals and just go back up there and choose that one, that's going to be the same payment every month. So really, there's where I calculated the payment. But here is where I just use that payment and repeat it. So now that I've done that, my formula there is whatever the previous cell is, put it here. So I just, once again, copy and paste and run that all the way down to the bottom to 240. And that is going to be how my payments are done. All right, now let's start here with principal payment. Well, we need to know what our interest payment is first, actually. And to do interest, we need to know our balance. So I'm going to press equals and just put that balance right there, because that is my loan balance. So at time value 0, that's today. That's why we put a 0 in here to start us off. That's what my my balance is. However, we're not going to put anything in here, and we're not going to put anything in there either, because those are going to be empty at time value 0. But at time value 1, we're actually paying now. Okay, so interest. What do we owe? Well, every month we have a interest rate, and that's going to be charged at whatever the balance is for the beginning. So I have $4,604 in interest right now. Now, if I come over here to principal, it would be equals. Well, my payment was this, but that much of it is interest, so therefore that's how much principal I have. All right, and then we come back over here to the next row, and that's our balance. And so our loan balance last month was this minus what we paid down in principal. So now we have a new loan balance of a little bit less. When you start paying on a loan, principal is what you pay the least on at the very beginning. You're paying mostly interest. And then as we go through time, these switch. All right, so I've written these formulas. Let me double click on them to check them out. That is going to be that minus that, and that will go all the way down. So that actually can stay just like it is. Double click here. That's going to be whatever my loan balance is times this rate, which that rate needs to stay right where it is, because that's the same rate. So I'm going to do a dollar symbol there. But the E14, the balance, needs to change every time I go down. Double click here, and then this, every time I go down, is always going to be the balance last month minus the principal, so that can stay just like it is. The reason why I did that is so I can highlight both those and run all the way down here to the bottom and do my loan amortization to get that set up. My check, to make sure I've got this right, is right there. Whenever you get to the last period, you should have a zero balance here. That means that we did owe that much money at the very last payment. And when we paid our payment, that's almost all principal. So it's the opposite of the beginning. So in the beginning, you're paying mostly interest and very little principal. At the very end, you're paying very little interest in this. All right, now let's come down here and do some totaling. So let's go and just total them all. I want to get a total of what did I have as a payment. What did I pay for principal and what did I pay for interest? And so that's one of the things I'd like to get to answer my questions. So I'm going to come down here and just get totals on this whole thing. So I'm going to do this E, auto sum, or you can just say equals sum, and then you've got to go highlight all the cells you want to total. Now, this equals auto sum actually does it for you. It types equals sum, plus it gets all of the column information that it thinks is relevant, which is all the way up to the first blank cell. So that is all my payment. So if I hit enter here, I am paying $1.5 million on this $850,000 loan. Now, if I go ahead and copy this all the way across, you get the totals of everything. Of course, I'm paying back $850,000. That's my principal. That is what I was supposed to pay back. The really question we're after is $670,000 in interest. So that's why you're paying $1.5 million, because you're paying $670,000 in interest. Think about that. It's an $850,000 loan, and you're paying $670,000 back in interest. Now, if we pay money down, then of course that means we're borrowing less. But I'm just looking at the loan itself. And so that's what we're paying. So that's one of our first areas to get some questions. What is the loan payment? Well, I can just say that's my payment right there. And here's how I'm going to answer these questions, because I want to do what-if analysis. So there's my answer. I just choose copy. And when I come over there to the loan payment, I choose paste special. This is an approach. And I just want the value. And so if I choose that, turn that into a dollar symbol, that's exactly what I'm paying. What's nice about this, if I double click on this, you can see it's just a number. It's not a formula anymore. So all of this will change if I look at another situation, but my answers will stay the same here, which is what I want. All right, what about interest? Well, I've got it right down there at the bottom. If I come in here and grab that and just choose again, copy, run back up to the top, right to the cell I want it, paste special, put in value, and choose there, turn that into a dollar symbol, and there's my answer. Once again, that won't change. All right, so there's the deal. I am going to pay $6,300 for this price every month to get this property. Hopefully that's worth it in my business. That's a whole other question. Now, over the life of the loan, I'm paying $670 or almost $671,000 in total. All right, let's do some work here to change. All right, so we have a new deal. We negotiate that we borrow less, and so we negotiate a lower price. $825,000 is now what I pay. Just change that, hit enter. There's all the answers. They have changed. I've got all of them already done. Payment, copy. Looks like your payment now is going to be a lot less. And so what about the interest on the loan? What did that change? Well, that changed to $650,000. So if I come up here, paste special values. And so it looks like that is my loan still working correctly? Should check that first. And it is, it's zeroed out. So that is the total of that, $651,000. So we saved a little bit of money, but not as much as maybe we'd hope. So that did change the deal a little bit. It's over almost $20,000, so it's pretty close. A little bit, yeah, a little bit under $20,000. All right, so we keep going. We say, you know what? Maybe the 825 is it. Maybe we can get this rate of interest down. So what does it look like if you go from 6.5 to 6%? We just change that to 6%. Hit enter. It gives me the calculations here, and so well, it does move your loan payment down a little bit. Moves it down to $59.10. What about the interest on the loan? Well, let's go get that right quick. And so interest on the loan, of course, is going to drop because of our rate. So it's going to drop to $593,000. So that actually moves it over $50,000, $56,000 drop. So it moves it quite a bit, 58,000 really. So it moves it a lot. So that small 0.5% at that lower price, but that small 0.5% drops us quite a bit of money that we're saving. So worth negotiating from 6 to 6.5%. But we keep going and we say, you know what, to the owner, look, you're going to make $500,000 on this loan. If I don't borrow from the bank and borrow from you, you and your family will be able to make the $590,000 I'm going to pay back over this span of time. So here's the deal. I'm going to do 6%. I'm going to do $800K for the price, but I'm going to do it with the owner. And so you can negotiate that. What would that look like? I'm still sticking with the 20-year payout. I'm looking at that same 6%, but you ought to give me a little break on the price if you're going to make all this extra money. So there is the $800,000 price now. And so once again, we look at our payment and we put that in here. The values are going to be there. So that's $5,731. So a couple $100 off what the loan payment from the bank would be. As far as interest on the loan, they'd be interested in what that's going to be, and you would be too. That's $575,000. And so we can negotiate that as far as price. And hopefully they'll like that they earned $575,000. So I guess in taking a look at our options, we started out with a loan of, let me look at the differences here. We started out with a loan that was going to cost us every month $6,000, but we managed to get that down through negotiations by $600 a month. So the loan payment is one thing to try to get down. A lot of people focus on the loan payment. However, the loan interest is really where the savings comes into play. And that's really what you want to focus on. So we were paying $670,000. We negotiated the price down and the rate, and so that has been able to save us $95,000 across the value of this. Now that's over 20 years, so it's not worth that much today, but it is good to look at what that's going to cost in the future. And so that is what you're looking at here. So these differences are worth knowing. So really the value of this homework is, number one, I want you to be able to set up a long-term loan amortization. So this is how you would do it. You'll need to do that in your homework. And do your own work. Whenever I pull up your Excel file, I'm going to be looking for these formulas to all be working. Now, these answers to these questions over here are going to be the same, and so you'll be able to look at what the answer should be, but I want you to bring that over. So you're going to do one loan amortization, you're going to set these variables, and then you're going to make changes, and this will automatically update. Again, make sure that when you check your loan, once it's done, you can see the $0 value here. All right, hopefully this video helps you understand how to develop your own loan amortization and even do a little bit of what-if analysis to try to capture changes in value and what they're worth. Thanks.